Good day, everyone, and welcome to our episode of the Macfin Insurance Forum. Today, I am talking to my former colleague, Alice Shumba from FBC in Zimbabwe. Alice, welcome on board.
Thank you very much, Simba.
Alice, welcome to the Macfin Insurance Forum. Firstly, may you please introduce yourself and just give us a glimpse into your career path. What have you done? What have you liked about it? And how have you gone about, developing your career to the executive level that you are?
Okay, thank you very much, Simba, and very good day to you all listeners. So yes, my name is Alice Shumba. I've worked in the insurance industry for almost 20 years. In fact, it's actually more than 20 years now. I've been in the insurance industry, and I've got one unique feature about my 20 years experience. It's mostly with one company. I've been with Southern Africa Reinsurance till its merger with FBC to become FBC Reinsurance Company. So I've predominantly worked for one entity. I did study insurance and risk management at the National University of Science and Technology, did my master's in business administration with the ESAMI, which is based in Tanzania. And I also did my CII with the Chartered Insurance Institute, the UK. But that one I did as a grown-up, having realized that I really needed to catch up with the youngsters who were coming with 4 or 5 qualifications in the industry.
Yeah. That's a very powerful CV there. And what I see is so much of technical competence in the insurance industry, highest studies at the highest level in terms of business. Congratulations.
Thank you, Simba.
While we're at that, let's just talk about the role of women in the insurance industry. How do you think the role of women has evolved over time during your career, and what are some of the positive developments?
And I think women have had a huge role to play in the insurance industry. Firstly, maybe as some of the pioneer women in the insurance industry, particularly at executive level, trying to break the barrier in a predominantly male environment. So obviously, one of the major roles that especially executive women have played has to be to motivate other younger women to show them that there is actually a career within the insurance industry where women can climb up, not just secretarial jobs, not just being an air hostess, but being an insurance executive. So I think the major role that women has played is being to uplift other women and to show them that this is the space that we can also play. So over the years, I think we have actually seen a number of women occupying senior position in the insurance industry, which is really a commendable development. And you may have noticed the wave within the region where we are starting to have a women insurance organization in each country. In South Africa, in Zimbabwe, we do have women insurance in Zimbabwe. I know I think Uganda, all over Africa, women are trying to motivate each other to ensure that we take insurance as our space as well in an environment that previously used to be dominated by male, but as I've seen over time, we are now at a place where there is an equal amount of women within top insurance position.
I think at your level as an executive, it must be tough, but it must also be very exciting that you are taking up the space and challenging the environment, challenging some of the issues. What are some of the issues do you need or do you think that women today who are in positions of influence, they should be focusing on? What do you think are the issues that women need to be driving so that the ones who are following behind you 5 years, 10 years from now, they won't have to face the same challenges?
Women who are currently in the industry, the challenge that we have is to prove that we can work at the same pace as our male counterparts. And I think over time, that has really proven to be true, that women and men can equally work at the same pace, if maybe better. But yes, I think that has been the biggest challenge, that for women, we've got to prove ourselves that we are not all about thinking about going home to our children. We are also about developing the company, thinking about strategies going into the future. So that is the major hurdle that we as women have faced, that we've got to prove ourselves, and not just for ourselves, but to say maybe in the past where, somebody would employ a woman, there would be this negative perception that if you employ a woman, the next thing they'll be going to a maternity leave, and then some myths that women are lazy. So for us women who are already in the insurance industry is to debunk those myths that do exist. So by our mere performance, we hold the torch for the future to say, men and women can work at the same pace without necessarily seeing the weakness on each part. For instance, I've often had people ask me questions like, how do you balance work and home life? I'm also tempted to ask the men, how do you balance home and work?
And talking about working hard, I can testify myself. I worked with you more than 20 years ago, I think. From my side, I can testify that you are really a very hard worker and someone that I still even look up to. And your career, if I'm correct, you started off in treaties and you progressed with treaties. And as far as I'm concerned, in the reinsurance space, treaties is a very difficult part of the business. How have you navigated through that, and how much of experience have you gathered through as you progress with your career?
Okay, so for me, I think working hard has, like you say, it's something that I've always believed that you don't get anything for free. Yeah. You've got to work hard. And like I said, especially if you're a woman, you've got to work even harder to prove that you can do certain things. I actually started off in claims. Yeah. And I remember at that time when I started off in claims, there was an opportunity in treaties. And I challenged my then boss that I could do both treaties and claims. And we ended up with the department, treaties and claims, which I eventually headed at some point before I became the head of the operations at FBC Reinsurance. So what am I saying? I've seen a number of people who do want to say, okay, my job description says I'm doing claims and that's it. Sometimes working hard means getting interested in other facets of the company that you're not particularly involved in. What you've got to do is to know everything all around you, because you never know the next time when you are required to know certain things.
As a lady executive, what are some of the issues that if you were to advise your male counterparts on the executive tables, what are some of the issues do you think as men we need to start considering, we need to start taking seriously, and maybe we also need to start introducing in our workspaces?
What I would say is that I know people still believe that, business can be sealed on a golf course, business can be sealed in the pub. I think gone are those days where you seal business because of a high. The space is changing. You're not going to meet me in the pub, but I've got an equal decision to make. So I'm not in the pub, but we've got to meet on the table. We've got to meet in the office. So it's no longer a buddy business. And like I said, you've seen in the region the wave, the power, the force that women are coming with. And I think as men, I'll probably advise that please watch the space. You may end up with more women executives than male executives in the near future, because as women, we are really putting an effort to ensure that we are not left behind, we are catching up, and we are also making our voice heard. And as a result, you find that, like I'm saying, deals maybe in the past could be sealed in the pub. Right now, we may be sealing business at a children's playgroup, because that's where the top women are probably meeting with their children, playing, and we are sitting down making decisions. So I think it's high time that we also reconsider, or rather look at our marketing strategies to say, are they all inclusive? I would say in a nutshell, yes, the landscape is getting more equal, and business will not just come naturally just because you know somebody. You've got to put in some work to it.
Yes, and I have seen you participating in some of the industry conferences, industry seminars and initiatives. Do you think the industry and the industry bodies in Zimbabwe, in Africa, do you think they are doing enough to promote some of the ideas that you are proposing here?
Definitely. So you find that maybe I'll talk on OSI, where I am an alternate board member for Zimbabwe. And you have seen the amount of drive that they are putting, even in terms of women program. There's the girl program that is driven under OSI. Even in terms of the leadership at African Insurance Organization, you have seen that the likes of Delphine Traore taking pole position. So yes, I think worldwide the issue of balancing the gender at decision-making level has been quite topical, and women have taken space. And I must say, we have also put in structures in those industry organizations to ensure that there is, a place where women feel comfortable and where women share ideas. So yes, industry bodies, they've actually put in place structures to promote women.
And now maybe just to come back to Zimbabwe, there has been a number of challenges in Zimbabwe, and I just want to understand from a technical and operations point of view, what are some of the areas where you feel the insurance industry has really been affected, and what are some of the initiatives do you think has helped the insurance industry in Zimbabwe to remain strong and to keep standing?
I will start with the negative bit, where you find that for Zimbabwean insurer, we have faced a huge problem with negative perception. So you'll find one Zimbabwean reinsurer or one Zimbabwean insurer misbehave. It is very easy for the whole market to be tainted with the same brush. Unlike when one South African insurer or one South African reinsurer misbehave, we are not easily painted with the same brush. Basically, we are treated skeptically within the region, despite the individual capacities that every insurer or reinsurer has. And I believe, for instance, in terms of claims payment speed, Zimbabwean insurers are amongst reinsurers amongst the fastest paying reinsurer in terms of claims, the claims turnaround. But that is rarely taken into consideration because people paint us with the same brush. That has been one of the major challenges that we find, especially when we go into the region. The second challenge that I've seen in the market is that because of inflation and our currency issues, whilst we have managed to operate and exist within that market, I think Zimbabwean insurers, to their credit, they're quite resilient. They've operated in the most difficult circumstances. So we have managed to grow through inflation, grow through currency. Despite all that, you find that we still attract interest from external reinsurers and external insurers. So our market has become quite overtraded. And at the same time, we are facing pressure from external participants. So that has been one of the major challenges that we faced as a Zimbabwean industry, where the market is currently overtraded and there's so much interest. But I give credit to the regulators who are trying to put every possible measures in place to ensure that there is market discipline. Because when the market is overtraded, the resultant issue is market indiscipline. And so the regulator has been stepping up their game. And you can see with the insurance bill that has been circulating, which will soon be approved, that the regulator has really tried to ensure that, particularly, especially on issues to do with externalization, the market is protected from unnecessary externalization. I've spoken of the issue that we do have currency issues, and I don't think it is fair for us to be posting out premium when we should actually be retaining premium within the country.
Yeah, that's a very interesting background. And one thing that definitely will be remembered as key to the resilience of the market is also to the personnel, the people who are running organizations in Zimbabwe. And I think it has become actually more or less like a trademark, even in the region, that Zimbabwe and Zimbabweans are well known for being probably excellent brains in the insurance business. If you may want maybe just to give others a glimpse of how the skills development process works in Zimbabwe.
The Zimbabwe insurance industry has been blessed to have universities that churn out insurance graduate. So we do have the insurance graduate coming from the National University of Science and Technology, Great Zimbabwe University, Midland State University. I'm not sure if I have left other universities which are producing insurance graduates, but we do have a number of universities that actually provide university graduates. So you find that within the Zimbabwe insurance industry, maybe at the time when I joined, you could easily join the insurance industry straight from A-level, from advanced A-level in school. But right now, because of the level of education, if I may say, that is in Zimbabwe, you find the average clerk has an insurance degree.
Yeah.
And because there's so much competition, when you want to be promoted to become an underwriter or senior underwriter, you've got to have an insurance degree and a master's degree. Yeah. And personally, I at some point got relaxed to say, look, I now have my first degree, I now have my master's degree. But tell you what, you find that in the office, the majority also have a professional qualification that they have in addition to those degrees. So yes, you're forced to ensure that you do have a professional qualification, your IISA, your CII. Also, we do have the Insurance Institute of Zimbabwe, which has been ensuring that we do have diplomas for those that may not have started through the university. They get a diploma through the Insurance Institute of Zimbabwe. So I can say the insurance industry has so much support from educational institutions in terms of churning out skills. And then when you talk of the skills rather than the education, we do have people in the insurance industry who have been dedicated over time to continue training. At the time when I joined the insurance industry, there were probably there were 4 reinsurers, but you could point at how many people are able to do treaty reinsurance. But right now, because we've got 8 reinsurance companies, all with treaties department. So what that means is that in those 8 reinsurance companies, there's got to be tremendous training for those treaty underwriters. So it is now quite easy for the market to have adequate reserve of trained skills because of also the number of companies that we have generally.
Yeah. So what I gather from you is possibly to say the insurance industry is in safe hands with women in leadership, with very progressive and responsible regulators, with an environment that is enabling in terms of the academic space. What else do you think in that mix maybe need to be added or need to be looked after going into the future?
Okay, going into the future, I think one thing that we may be quickly losing is discipline. I spoke of the issue to do with the market being overtraded with a lot of competition on the cake that is not growing at the same pace as the number of players. Yeah. So you find that in that space, market indiscipline also creeps up. I'm quite passionate about the issues to do with risk management, and it's something that I think the market should really be paying attention to. We have seen an increase in fire claims, for example, unprecedented numbers within a single insurance period. And when you look closely at it, it's the issues to do with risk management issues. At FBC Re, we still have a risk management department, but when you look at an average reinsurer does not have a risk management department, which I think is an area that has been neglected over time because the financial benefits are not quickly seen. They can only be seen in the absence of a vibrant risk management division. And I think the cracks are starting to show. And if we do not do anything quickly, that will spell disaster for the market.
Very interesting and very wise words there from Alice. Alice, thank you so much for your time. I'm sure our listeners and followers on the Marksman Insurance Forum have learned quite a lot from you. And definitely our ethos on the Marksman Insurance Forum is that if anyone wants to understand much about Zimbabwe, wants to find out about Zimbabwe, they can directly contact you and you can be a resource person and assist as much as possible.
Thank you, Simba. Maybe just as a last word from me, a parting shot from me, as I look into the future, and if I were to say something to the insurance industry at large, that we are probably in that space where some 20 years ago computers were being introduced and those that couldn't use computers were left behind. We are now in the digitalization space.
Yes.
If you do not move with the times, you may soon find yourself either out of employment or out of business. Digitalization is the way to go for most companies, and I think it's important to consider topics that are critical at this moment: climate change and digitalization. We will not go far without those issues. So I thought as a parting shot, those are some of the areas which I think insurers and reinsurers across the region and globally should really be paying attention to. Otherwise, in the next few years, if you have not taken this seriously, you may not have existence.
Thank you so much for the wise words. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Simba, for the opportunity.